Welcome, I'm Austin Kennedy, and this is my daughter, Kiya Kennedy. Say hi.
Hi.
We're here to talk about our top 10 games of 2014. Just a little background history. So, about a year ago, I probably wouldn't be doing this list because I probably played maybe 3 board games in my life. Besides, like, Clue and Monopoly and stuff. I've played Ticket to Ride and maybe Settlers of Catan. This is the year, 2014, that we got really into board games. And, I don't know, it pretty much changed my life anyways. I really, really like it, and I like playing with my daughter. And probably, so I want to share with you, like, my love of board games now, because, you know, a lot of people would probably be like, well, why are you doing a board game list if you've only been playing, like, modern board games for, like, a year and a half? Well, that's because I'm really into it, and when I get into something, I just don't casually get into something. I dive all the way in, and I already have like 250 games. I'd say like half of them are probably from 2014. So I think we played maybe about 80 games 2014, and I think that's a pretty good number to have I think justify having a top 10 board games of the year. So we're gonna do that. So just keep in mind that we're not experienced gamers. We haven't played a lot of, you know, the classics and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind when we come up with this top 10. So this is kind of like from a newbie's angle of our top 10 games of 2014. We haven't played everything. I just want to mention some games we haven't played. We haven't played Arcadia Quest. We haven't played Battle of the Five Armies. We haven't played Dead of Winter, which is actually a really big one, but it's out of print everywhere. And every time it gets in print, I can't get it because it goes out of stock after like 30 seconds. Dungeons and Dragons Attack Wing, Heroes Wanted, Kingsport Festival, Lords of Zidit, Paperback, Shadowrun Crossfire, and Zia. Those are the ones that I really wanted to play this year that I actually didn't get a chance to play. But otherwise, I think we've played most of the ones that are on a lot of people's lists. Another thing I want to mention, too, is that you won't find any games that premiered at, like, Essen and Gen Con that aren't out for sale yet in America. I think that's just not fair. Like, stuff like Alchemist or Deus, those and Aquasphere, they didn't come out for sale until 2015, so for me, that's a 2015 game. That's just like in movies, because this is FLIX and Games, and I'm a film critic, so I'm used to movies being like, you know, if a movie premieres in like Cannes or, you know, Toronto Film Festival in September, but it doesn't come out here till, you know, the next year, it doesn't count until that next year on top 10 lists. I'm just saying. So I think games should do the same thing, and that's how I am going to do this list, just like movies. So without further ado, we're going to move on to our top 10 games of 2014. Alright, number 10. So what we did, we don't know what each other's top 10 games are. We wrote them down separately. We kind of did it where we would write all 70, 80 games that we played, and I gave her the list of every games we played, and she kind of went through and really dissected it and tried to pick her favorite games, and I did the same thing, and then ranked them. So what we did, we don't know what we have. We took a game and put it underneath a blanket. So we don't know what we're going to pull out. So we're going to pull out the game. So my number 10 is, actually I went, Kiya did her game in a blanket first. And so I went to go look for my game to pick for top 10, and it's not there. So I'm guessing her number 10 is the same as my number 10. My number 10 is Star Wars Imperial Assault. Is that your number 10? Can you go grab it, please? Thanks. All right. So that's our top 10. Our number 10 is Star Wars Imperial Assault. There it is. Star Wars Imperial Assault. My number 10, and also Kiya's number 10. I'm going to start saying, this is, I mean, essentially it's just a Star Wars game. Apparently it's a game, like a game called Descent that Fantasy Flight did before, and I've never played it. And a lot of people said it's just a re-skinning of that. I don't really care. It's just Star Wars, so it's awesome. And what you're doing is, it's almost like a role-playing game because you have a campaign and you have to one person's essentially the Imperial troops or the dungeon master kind of thing, or the game master, and then the other players are the rebels. And they're just trying to win missions, and then depending on how the mission goes, if the Imperials wins or the Rebels wins, another mission will trigger. And so you're playing a campaign mission. There's also a skirmish mode that we haven't tried yet. I've heard kind of mixed things about it, and I'm not really interested. I kind of just like playing the story mode. Essentially, I'm not really big into role-playing. I'm not really into, oh, you have hit points and this is my, defense die. I'm not really into that stuff. And I almost wonder if this wasn't Star Wars, if I would like it as much, because the reason I like it so much is because it's Star Wars, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And the more I play it, the more I get into it. It took me, the first couple missions we played, I'm in 2 campaigns, one with my brother and one with Kiya. And I'd say my first couple missions, we spent half the game looking at the rules, because we would do something, I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh, focus, okay, oh, what's bleeding? And then we'd have to go look at the rule book. And I wasn't sure if I was enjoying that, because when I play a game, I just want it to flow. I just want to go bam, 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 bam. I don't want to have to keep looking at the rule book. But once you get into it, once you get going, you really get involved into the story. It would probably be a little higher if I didn't have to look in the rule book as much, because I really like it. And playing the 2 different campaigns, it's going differently. You're actually doing better. She's doing better than her uncle. And yeah, I really like it. Star Wars Imperial Assault, my number 10. Also Kiya's number 10. So what do you think about it?
I like the theme, of course.
You like the Star Wars? Okay. Well, you're not as big into Star Wars as I am.
Well, I sort of stopped watching the movies.
Well, don't worry. That'll change because episode 7's coming out and we're going to be watching Star Wars all the time. Okay.
I liked the mechanics of it.
Okay.
And,
like what are the mechanics?
Like the dice rolling, and you have to attack the other person.
Oh, you like
that? It's just different missions, and you have every little thing triggers a different.
Yeah, it's really neat, and you like having your characters, and it's cool because things that you collect on missions you get to keep for the other missions, and I think that's really neat. And it's just cool because, sometimes you'll be playing a mission and then boom, Darth Vader. I'm like, haha, Darth Vader's coming out, and you're like, oh. And just different characters come out, and there's some pretty close calls. Every time I think she's won all the missions, and every time she's like, oh, you're just going to do that, and she gets really mad, but then she ends up winning anyways at the last minute, usually. Like, there's one mission where she's supposed to kill a particular character, and out of the blue, because she's playing 2 characters, in a 2-player game, you control 2 characters. One of her characters was almost dead or wounded, and that would have triggered the end game for her. But then one of her characters out of nowhere does a charge and attack and just boom with a vibro axe and just right in the head. Awesome. No, Star Wars Imperial Assault, great. Both of our number 10s, I guess. So my number 9 is a game that I was a little curious about. Because I don't essentially like party games. I really like more strategic games. But every time I play this and bring it out, I teach a board game class in middle school, and it's always a hit. And every time I bring it out with adults, it's a hit. It's just a really fun game. It's called Sheriff of Nottingham. And it's actually a re-implementation of another game called Nottingham, I think? Or Robin Hood. I think it's Robin Hood. And it came out a while ago. This is Arcane Wonders and Dice Tower Essentials. They kind of came out with a remake version of it. It's really fun. It's got really nice components. I really like it. Essentially what you're doing in the game is everybody gets a chance to be the sheriff, and the other players are going to be merchants, and they're trying to bring in legal goods or contraband past the sheriff, and you have this bag, and you put goods into the bag, and you can put like 1 to 5 goods in there, and when you can kind of tell the sheriff, you have to declare 1 legal good, so you can be like 3 cheese, but you might have like 2 swords and 1 bread or something, and if the sheriff opens up your bag and you're lying, you pay the penalty, and if you are telling the truth, and the sheriff doesn't believe you and he opens the bag, he has to pay you the penalty. And you can also bribe the sheriff and like, oh, I'll give you maybe 1 of my chickens and 2 gold not to open it up. Stuff like that. It's really fun, and it's always one of those games you never know who's lying and who's telling the truth. Even if you're like really good friends with whoever you're playing, it's really fun. Sheriff of Nottingham. It's a really good party game, and I don't know, I like it a lot. Good interaction. If you like games where you can interact with people, good family game, bring in at like parties and stuff, Thanksgiving, Christmas, stuff like that. That's really good. So Sheriff of Nottingham is my number 9. What's your number 9?
Istanbul.
Oh, cool, Istanbul. All right. So what are you doing in this game?
Well, you're in like a marketplace,
Yep.
and you have to get 5 gems in a 2-player.
Oh no,
No,
6
6
gems in a 2-player,
Okay.
5 in a regular player game. 3 to 5.
So, each of your merchants,
Mhm.
you go to different places, but you have to drop your merchant off
Okay, drop your assistant off, right? Yeah.
in order to
Do the action.
do the action. I like the mechanics, but a lot of people seemed to like this. I just didn't like it as much as other people did.
Well, it made your top 10,
It
so
made my
apparently you
top
liked
10.
it a lot. Jeez,
most
you're just.
people put it like
Yeah, it won the Kennerspiel Award last year. It beat Rococo, which is like one of my favorite games ever. So
I don't really like it.
what? You don't like
I
Rococo?
don't like-
Rococo's awesome. But no, anyways, that came out in 2013. But this game, yeah, it's pretty fun. So I don't know. You like this one a lot.
I like this
See,
one.
Cool. You like doing all the different things at the marketplace.
I think it's a variety.
It is. There's a lot. It's like every different tile is almost like its own mini game in it. Almost every time you put your merchant somewhere, you're like, oh, I'm going to roll dice to gamble, or I'm going to go here and pick up a gem by using my resources, stuff like that. It's pretty good. Yeah, cool. All right. So Kiya's number 9.
Istanbul.
Number 8. Number 8 is a game that when I first played it, it was really hard, and I wasn't sure how much I liked it. It's kind of a re-theming of a different type of a different game that I really, really liked. And so when I played this, because I like this theme, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then when I played it, I'm like, I don't know if it's just too hard. And it finally took me 4 times to beat it, but I still haven't played all of the scenarios, so I'm really excited to. But my number 8 is Legendary Encounters. You? Oh, you look surprised. It's Legendary Encounters, yeah. So this is kind of the same system as Marvel Legendary, and Legendary Villains. Yeah, and this is the movie Alien. So it has, you can play the first movie, you can play the second movie, you can play Alien 3, you can play Alien Resurrection. You can mix them all up. I haven't done that yet. I might do that if I go through all the scenarios multiple times. I've only played the first scenario, and I played it about 5 times. And I really like it. And it's so hard, and every time it just is so impossible. And then the first time when I played it with Kiya, it was like super easy, and we beat it. Like
in the middle of the game, the complex.
Was completely yeah. So what you do is it's just like Marvel Legendary, where it's a deck building game where you have like characters from the movie. So in the first movie, you're playing with like the Tom Skerritt character and Yaphet Kotto and Veronica Cartwright, Sigourney Weaver. And what you're doing is you're just building your deck, getting special abilities, so you can. The Hive deck comes out, and it's like, alien eggs and different aliens, and you also have to have objectives, and you have to collect like an SOS and different things that you're supposed to do throughout the game, and you finally have. The main objective is like to maybe kill the alien, at least in the first one, and it's really hard. And it's a pure co-op game. There is no, at least the variants that we play, there is no there is no way that we can get points that we can win and one up each other. There is a variant where you can play it with a trader, and I bet you that would be really fun. I want to play it a few more times, but since Marvel Legendary is one of my favorite games of all time. This definitely made the list, and I was debating whether to put it in because it's almost like kind of a re-theming of an older game. But it came out in 2014, and I'm going to say that it's different enough to warrant a spot in my top 10. So my number 8 is Legendary Encounters. Big Alien fan. If you're a big Alien fan, you're going to love this game. If you like deck building and you love aliens, you're going to love it. It's a blast. It totally captures a theme. So. That's my number 8. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is...
See, I've been trying to guess. I guessed her first two that they would. I don't know, not in any particular order, but I figured that they'd get them. Oh, number 8.
Hyperborea.
Hyperborea. Nice.
I wasn't a big fan of this when I first played it. I'm like, this is good. I like this.
Yeah.
But my dad's like, oh, I want to play it again because he really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I played it again and it grew on me.
It grew on you. So what are you doing in this game? I mean, it's very thematic. Look at that box.
Beautiful artwork.
Yeah. Totally.
I like you put out your characters and there's just different goals for you to do.
Yeah, well, you can be like, if you look, there's like a bunch of different races on here that you can be.
My favorite one.
Oh, the Duchy?
The Duchy.
The Red Duchy, yeah, they're like kind of the badass, like, battle guys or whatever, I don't know.
But the one,
military.
The power I like, because they each have a special power, I like this one, which these two are my favorite on artwork.
What's the main mechanic of this game then?
The main mechanic
It's like
is...
you know, for example, Legendary Encounters was deck building. What would you say this is?
You have to grab cubes.
Right.
The game.
It's a cube building game, so you have this bag and you're putting cubes into your bag, right? Okay.
And you have to draw them out, and each triggers something. To do something like, let's say, 2 yellows are like a victory point.
Yeah, the cubes are pretty much how you move in this game, or how you do actions in this game. That's all you do. So you have this like hexagon board, and you have your factions on there, all your people, and you're going around trying to take control, because it's like area control a little bit, because at the end of the game you get victory points depending on where you are on the board. You can also attack people to get rid of them so you can take over their hexagon tile, but in order to do that you have to get these cubes, and you're moving technology on this track, and the further along you get this technology, you grab cubes, and like yellow cubes will help you get victory points, green cubes will help you move. So if you put like a green and a red, you get 2 movement points, and that allows you to move. And there's just certain things, so you really have to think ahead of what do you want to do. Do you want to move more? Then you better try to go for some green cubes. And there's also extra technology cards, advanced technology, that give you different actions to choose from. And yeah, it's pretty neat.
I didn't know this is your number 8 too. I thought
it is not my but I'm gonna say this right now. Just to save time. This is my number 7. So number 7 is Hyperborea for me. And that's why I'm explaining it. But I really like this game too, and I pretty much explained why, what you have to do in this game.
Yeah.
Number 7 for me is Hyperborea, and essentially I also don't like, for some reason I love fantasy themed movies, games. I'm just like, that's, you know, it just reminds me of like Magic and Dungeons and Dragons. That's the kind of stuff that always turned me off from board gaming. So like this one didn't really grab me, and when I played it, I was the one. Well, when I first played it, you're the one that kind of wanted it because you like fantasy theme. So I was like, I got it for her, and then the first time I played it, it surprised me. I thought it was really neat, and the more I played it, I probably played it 4 times now, and I really like how you really have to think about what kind of cubes you need, and so essentially, I thought it was going to be more of like a hit point type game, almost like Imperial Assault, where you're like rolling and have defense die. It's nothing like that at all. It definitely has more of a Euro feel to it, which is kind of more my wheelhouse. I liked it a lot. Any other words on this? I know I kind of butted into your number 8. Sorry.
I enjoyed this game a lot.
Yeah? Do you like battling on the board? Like, what's your favorite thing about this game?
I like actually doing the victory points and activating a whole bunch of different stuff to figure out what you can do to trigger the whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's really fun. I really like this game. I mean, if you like fantasy themed stuff, definitely check it out. But also, don't be scared. Like, if you're not a big fantasy themed person, don't be scared, because I ended up liking it too.
It's more about the mechanic and less of the theme.
Definitely. I mean, the theme is there. I mean, it is a thematic game. Don't get me wrong. It's not just a pasted on theme. It's definitely thematic.
I think it could be stronger.
You think so?
But otherwise I love the mechanic.
Okay, gotcha.
And theme itself.
Yeah. For me, theme isn't that important for me. I want the game to be fun and good, and so I know there's some other critics out there that really like they're really picky. If the theme's kind of weak, they're like, oh, I don't like the game. But you know what? If I like the game and just how it plays, I'm gonna love it. But yeah, the theme is great in this. Hyperborea. My number 7, Kai's number 8.
My number 8.
Now we're gonna go to her number 7. She's grabbing it right now. I've been 3 for 3 so far. Let's see what we got.
He guessed it.
Oh, how'd you know? How'd you know?
Because he knew I liked it from the start.
I did guess this one. So this is your number 7. And it is called, what is this called?
Abyss.
Abyss. Where's the title? There it is. Abyss. It actually came with what? How many?
5.
5 different covers. I know this isn't your favorite. No, I ordered this online, so I didn't know which one we were getting, and this is actually the one I wanted.
And my dad's like, point this out to my dad.
Big thinks she's really big into artwork, so on games, if it has big artwork, or really well done artwork, she's going to love the game. The gameplay itself, though, I mean, besides the artwork, how is the game, though?
I like the gameplay.
Because artwork doesn't mean anything to me unless the game is good.
I judge it by everything he doesn't like artwork.
It is a good game. I do like this game.
I enjoy the gameplay of this, and it's sort of like you bid on it too. Like creatures come out.
Yeah, it comes. Look, you can get these pearls. These little pearls, and they're really nice. They just drop in there. Yeah, no, I like.
They're easy to lose.
They are easy to lose. They kind of fly all over the place if you're not careful. But essentially, you're just kind of bidding on.
Bidding on monsters.
Yeah, bidding on getting allies,
allies,
and then you use the allies to gain lords. And they give you victory points and special abilities, and the most victory points the winner. So it's a fairly simple game. I mean, if you look at it, because I mean, it's a little bit overproduced, which is fine because
it could be anything.
No, and I don't mind that the game is overproduced because it's really glossy, but it's at heart a very simple game.
I really enjoyed the artwork for me, though.
Right, but it flows good, but you like the gameplay.
I like the gameplay. It's very simple and it flows really nice.
Right, so you really like Abyss.
Yes.
Alright, so this is your...
Number 7, Abyss.
Okay. My number 7 is a game that I was really excited about. As soon as I saw videos and pics from Gen Con last year, I didn't go to Gen Con, but I saw the videos, and wow! The theme just blew me away because I'm a retro person. I love arcade games, and I was so excited that they were coming out with a video game, board game, and it's The Battle of Kimball's Cascade. If you want to talk about theme and just nailing something, these guys hit it out of the park. It is a pretty complex game, but it's kind of like one of those scrolling shooters like Galaga. The graphics in it actually remind me more of like a 16-bit, rather than 8-bit, like a Sega Genesis game like R-Type or something, or Forgotten Worlds. But essentially, you're just ships, and you're going around, and you have these rows of cards that make up the game board on these trays, and then you put your ships. There's like asteroids and ships and like power-ups that you can get, and it is so thematic. I mean, this is probably one of the best thematic games I played this year. It has totally captured the feel of an arcade game. It can run a little long, so like your first game will probably be 2 hours, but I loved it so much that I didn't care how long it was. It's a blast. And then when that boss comes out at the end, because you can randomize and put 4 bosses out. You don't know which boss is coming out, and you're like, oh, just got this, boss with 4 arms is coming out, and it's really neat. And he comes in 2 rows, and yeah, it's a blast. I really like the Battle at Kimball's Cascade. Did you like this game at all?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's a fun game. All right, your number 6. See if I guessed it well.
Oh, just to let you know, he's gonna guess all of them.
I don't know. I'm 4 for 4. I know her taste pretty well.
He guessed this.
Oh, yeah. And I know. Wait. No, I did not guess this one. I had it on your runner-up. I didn't have it in your main 10. So I didn't think it was gonna make it. All right. So your number 6 is
Kanban.
Automotive Revolution. All right. What are we doing in this game?
You're building cars.
You're building cars. Where are you working? So you're working.
Yeah. you're working in a car factory or just that type of.
Yep. And what can you do?
You can buy designs.
Okay.
And you also have to get pieces.
Car parts.
Car parts.
Yep. I'm blocking you. Sorry. What else can you get in this game?
You can get car parts and the exoskeleton of a car.
Yep. That's the assembly line, and then that's the test track.
Test track, and it's just.
Yeah, why do you like this game so much? I mean, it's just you're working at a car factory?
It's sort of like, it's like Euro, and I just really like a whole bunch of stuff where you can do, and I like mechanics, the theme is not the biggest, but I like the colors, it's very good.
It's a very good, colorful game. My number 5 of 2014 is a game that I was a little skeptical of. I thought it had a really neat look to it, but I thought it might be a little gimmicky. And when I first played it, I thought it was fine and it was fun. And every time I play it, it gets better and better, and it just kept climbing up for me. Like, I probably played this, as this is one of the newer games I've gotten. I probably got this at the end of November, and I probably played this close to 15 times now. I really like it, and every time I bring it out, it's a blast. And I really like the theme. Very thematic game. It's a fun little light game. It's called Cult Express, number 5.
What?
You're surprised because I tend to like more strategic games. This game is a blast, though. This is a game. Okay, so if you look at the game, when you set it up, it's not a board. It is a train. It's a 3D train that you have to put together, and it's like it can be. If you have 6 players, you have all 6 trains connected to a locomotive, and so you are bandits in this game, and you're essentially just trying to go around on the train, just grabbing loot, punching and shooting each other. Looting and shooting is what we said in the game, and I'm a big Western fan. And thematically, it's really fun. It's not a deep game at all, but it's a programming game. You have cards that give you actions, like this is a move action, and then you have a climb action and a punch, and moving the sheriff. Because if the sheriff goes in you, he shoots you, and you go to the roof. So it plays in 5 rounds, and you just play cards over each other, but you play one at a time. So he plays a move, you play a move. And then sometimes you put them face down so you don't know what they're doing. And then after everyone plays like 4 or 5 cards each, you turn it over, and then you play it out. And the thing I think I like the most about this game, because I'm a filmmaker, and I really like movies, and went to film school and everything, it's almost like the programming phase, when you're playing the cards down, and you're kind of programming what you're going to do, it's almost like you're writing the story. And then when you turn it over and activating the cards and showing what happens, and then you're playing it out, almost like you're watching what you wrote. And sometimes it doesn't play out how you thought it was going to be. This is also one of those games, I'm going to coin this phrase right now. I call this game an O game. O games are when you think you have something figured out and it doesn't, and you go, oh! And everybody at the table goes, oh! This is a great O game. I love it. It's really fun. I know you like it. I think you've liked it a lot. You didn't like it at first, and I think the more you play it,
but it
doesn't make your top 10. No, the reason I put it on there because it's a game that I can bring out
and
not just with gamers.
On his list?
Yeah.
It could at least be number 10.
No, essentially, I probably wouldn't have made the list if I would have first played it, but the more I played it, it's
high.
It gets better every time.
I don't think it deserves to be this high.
That's why it's my number 5, not your number 5. No, I really like Cult Express. It's a blast. You can play it with non-gamers. I think it's a really good introduction. Like, people that don't play games, I think will love this game. And I think a lot of gamers will like it too for a lighter filler game. But I think it is fun. It's really fun. So that's my number 5, Cult Express. Your number 5
is... He's gonna guess the rest of my 5.
I probably will. But I didn't know how they were ranked, so... I actually thought this was going to be your number 5. Okay. Number 5 is Sheriff and I Am, which was my number 9. Now, I know she loves this game. Like, the first time we played it, she was like, her mind was blown. And we already know the mechanics. I explained how to play. So what do you really like about this game?
I like the theme. I like the bluffing.
Yeah, why do you like playing this game? Like, what's so fun for you?
It's just really fun to try to get something past.
She is really sneaky at this game. What she does is she really tries to let you think that she's lying. Like, maybe she'll even be like, oh, I'll give you 1 coin, or, you know, and then you open it up and she's telling the truth. She's such a jerk that way.
Like, I beg for not...
And she also really gets into it, too. When she's the sheriff, she'll stand up and circle the table and be like, so, you got 4 cheese. Oh, she really gets into this game.
I love this game so much. Actually, one of the times when I started getting into this, he's like, oh, I'm like, how many can you put in a bag? And he's like, oh, 1 to 5, and I'm like, okay, and I put 5 apples in my bag.
And I'm like, there's no way you got 5 apples right away, and she did.
He's like, opens it up.
Yeah,
And
I didn't even want her to negotiate. I'm like, 5 apples, and I just open up the bag, and boom, I'm like, oh, we're over $10 now.
And I kept doing like 4 and 5s, and I got the special bonus.
You did get the special bonus. You usually do.
I usually tell the truth because.
Right.
I purposely.
I kind of go back and forth. I don't know. But yeah, it's, like I said, it's a really good bluffing game.
It's easier. Everyone picks on me.
It's a party game. It's really fun.
Everyone picks on me, and I think my strongest point.
So this is your top 5. Number 5 for Kiya, Sheriff of Nottingham. My number 4 is a game that when we played this game, this is already on her list, by the way. She already mentioned it, and when we first played it at a friend's house, she was like, after like the first turn, was like, Dad, you're gonna buy this game. And I was like, okay. And it was out of print for a while, so I didn't get it till like October, I think. But it's a really fun game. My number 4 is Istanbul. I really like this game. It is so much fun. I've already explained how...
Like I said, it's higher. This is an example.
Oh, that's right, because she was saying. Yeah, it is higher. I love it. And what now, because you lay the tiles out, and you lay them out in a certain order, if you play the same order every time, I probably wouldn't be as high. But the way you can mix it up and, you know, shuffle the tiles, and it's a different gameplay
it's
because...
It's like a different story every time.
It's a different... You have to use different strategies because, oh, now you can't utilize this, you know, place over here. I'm going to have to do this. So it plays different every time you play it. And I also like it because it's really quick. It's actually easy to teach once you get them... Once you know what every tile does. I just taught it today to my middle school class, and I was really surprised. They picked it up like that. I mean, I think, and usually a teaching game would probably last about an hour and 20 minutes. We were done less than an hour. They just caught it, and they got it really good. It was a 3-player game. But yeah, Istanbul, my number 4. What I like about it is just, it's a quick game because it's, all you're doing is moving 2 spots, do that action, boom, next person, boom, next person, boom. And you're just racing and trying to get the rubies, and you're really trying to think, how can I do this to get past my opponent or outsmart my opponent? Because who has the best strategy is going to win. So my number 4, Istanbul. Your number 4, what's your number 4? I think it's either one of these 2. Aha! Number 4 is Camel Up. Not Camel Cup, it's Camel Up.
A lot of people really didn't give this game a chance.
I agree. It won the Spiel des Jahres this year, and it beat Splendor.
And a lot of people were like, Splendor's gonna win.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought Splendor should win.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people didn't play Camel Up. They played Splendor. And then when Camel Up won, when they played Camel Up, they were like, "Blah!" You know, they had these preconceived notions about it, I thought.
Yeah, they were like, even if they didn't play it, they're like...
I can't remember which one I played first, but we played this early on. I imported it because I couldn't wait for it to come out.
This was a really fun game. It's fun playing it with...
what are you doing in the game? Explain what the game is.
You're betting on camel races.
You're betting on camel races. That's all. That's what you're doing in the game. You're betting on camel races.
It can get chaotic with 8 people.
Yeah, it plays 2 to 8.
It's less of a strategic game, but more like a party game. Basically, you're not gonna win at all.
Right,
All
right.
the money's gonna go.
Cool. So why do you like this game so much?
It's really fun, and in a 2-player game, it's slightly strategic, wanting to get one camel.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm going to explain. I'm going to go into a little more about this because this is my number 3 is Camel Up. So on my number 3, I'll just skip right ahead. Number 3 is Camel Up. I really like this game. And if this was an instant favorite. Like as soon as I played it, I'm like, I love it. I love it. One of my favorite games of all time. I really like it. It's not like, you know, if you're a heavy gamer, that's not what this is. This is a game that you get other people that aren't gamers into gaming. It is that kind of game. It's a gateway game. You can play it with kids, you can play it with adults, and it's also what I said about Colt Express. It's another O game. It's one of those games where you think one camel's going to do good, and you have this awesome dice pyramid where the dice go in, and then how the camels stack up on each other. But then there'll be moments where you're like, okay, this camel's going to get last place, so you bet him for last place, and then all of a sudden someone rolls the dice, boom, he's in first place, and he wins the race, and everyone's like, oh, it's another O game. You're like, oh. And yeah, it plays different. What I like about this game is that it's almost a different type of game with the number of people that you play, because if you play it with 2 or 3 players, it's very strategic, where you're grabbing betting tiles, and then, you know, if someone grabbed a betting tile of the white and he was in first place, you might want to grab the one for betting tile for the green, and then you try to use your desert tiles that can advance the camels 1 or make them go back 1, and use those to try to manipulate the camels to go up. You can't really do that in a multiplayer game with like 6, 7, or 8, because you just take what you can get and just hope for the best, but it's still fun. I don't think it takes away from the game. The sweet spot for this game is probably 4 players, 4 to 5. But I like it. I think our first 5 times played it, we just played it 5 times with ourselves, just 2 players, and we loved it. So I think it works really well with 2. But Camel Up is a game that I think a lot of gamers are giving a lot of crap to, and undeservedly so. I can absolutely see why this one Spiel des Jahres. All right. Kiya's number 3 is
King's Forge.
Where's the box?
Up there.
It's up there.
Only they can see it. It's magic.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I don't know. Hopefully we'll Photoshop it or we'll put it in a picture, but we don't have it. We don't have this. This is actually the only game that's under the list that we don't have, and it's because it was a Kickstarter game and it came out, and I think it was on sale on the Game Salute site for a limited time, and then it kind of went out of print. They did kickstart a new edition of it, which we backed, so we are going to be getting it later on, I think in September. Hopefully by Gen Con, I can go pick it up there. But yeah, King's Forge. So
I loved it.
Yeah, this was her early on. I thought this was going to be a number 1 game for a while. Like
I absolutely loved this.
Why do you like this game so much?
I like the theme.
What's the theme?
I like the artwork. You're building. Well, you're crafting weapons, armor, just different items for the king.
Yeah, it's like a medieval game, and you're crafting like different things, like swords, but you're also doing like flutes and stuff like that. And so but you have all this dice.
A lot of people were like thinking it was a dice rolling game. You get to roll your dice, but you don't roll.
It's essentially it's more of a dice drafting game where you're collecting the dice,
and then
you roll them once. And I think that bothered some people. It doesn't bother me because I thought it's more about the drafting than the rolling.
Yeah,
which I kind of like drafting better than dice rolling games anyways.
I really enjoyed this game. I like the mechanics. I like the artwork.
Mm-hmm. Artwork's great.
Detail!
Yeah, so a Kickstarter exclusive was this board, which I think should be included in the base game because it just adds so much flavor to it. And I think it is included in the base game now in the 2nd edition.
The game is good too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the game. I
like how you have to collect different dice, but you have to trade other dice to get that dice.
Cool, yeah, because all the dice represent different things.
And then...
What do they represent, the dice? It's metal, wood...
Metal, wood, magic, rubies, gems. I call them rubies because they're red.
Yeah, ruby red.
I think they should have been tie-dye representing all the gems.
Yeah, keep going.
So, I really like where you have to collect all the dice and then roll it to craft something.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
And you're racing to collect 5.
5.
Well, I guess it depends on how many players. 5, 6, 7.
But then the artwork for creating the.
You love this game, and it's not your number one? Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
I
get
guess
into that in a little
this
bit.
game's
All right.
better than
So we
that.
got Kiya's number 3 is King's Forge. My number 2 is Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Now, for a while, Camelot was just like my favorite game to play. This came out later on in the year. I think we got it in November, end of November. And the first time I played it, I thought it was really fun. It was a little, for the first few times I played it, it was a little fiddly with how you score. I wasn't clear on some of the wording, like adjacent tiles and connected rooms. So what you're doing in this game, the Castles of Mad King Ludwig, he was a real dude. He actually had these castles. He spent all the, the government's money on building crazy castles, and a lot of the rooms that are in this are real. And it's a tile laying game, and you are building your castle, and it's a bidding game too, because it's almost everyone gets turns being the master builder, and certain sizes of rooms comes out, and there's certain types of rooms. There's like 8 different types, like activity rooms, outdoor rooms, sleeping chambers, living rooms, stuff like that, and you're just essentially bidding on them, and the master builder kind of arranges them to how he wants, and then you pick a tile, and then the master, or the person that buys the tile, gives the money to the master builder, and then the master builder picks one and gives the money to the bank. But that's essentially how you get money in the game, is that everybody pays you, and then you pay the bank, and then everyone takes turns being the master builder. But what's really neat about the game, I like making your own castle and connecting them, but what I like even more is that what I keep coming back to is you get these, there's end game goals, and I love games that have end game goals. Those are like my favorite games, because during the game you score points, but then someone can be in last place, and then they have all these objective cards, like secret goal cards, and they're like bam bam bam, they scored like 40 points and they won the game. I love games that have big swings at the end like that, because you're working throughout the game trying to collect, trying to achieve your goals, and I love games like that. And this game is really addicting. It's really simple. It's really easy to teach. I played it with my 8-year-old nephew and nieces, and they love it, and they get it, and it's super fun. So,
you know what? This is my number 2 too.
Oh, it's her number 2.
I really liked this game.
It gets better every time I play. I love this game. Yeah.
He was having a hard time to decide what place it should go.
Yeah, okay, my number 1 and number 2 are almost interchangeable, because I had a really hard time picking them, because I like them both just as much, and I don't know. This one, I'm not going to spoil what my number 1 is yet, but I think this one would probably make the table more, because it's easier to teach than my number 1, and more accessible. But yeah, this game is really fun to play. Game number 2.
I really like the artwork, and I like building your castle.
What's your favorite thing about it?
I really like building the castle, but there's also the certain things like, I remember I had one more turn left, and kitchens that you have, if you finish a kitchen, you get to do.
Oh, if you complete a kitchen, if you close out the kitchen,
another one, and I had a whole
take
bunch
another
of money,
turn, right?
And there was 2 kitchens out there.
So you get to do a couple turns in a row.
And I finished the kitchen, then built the other kitchen, then built the other.
Yeah,
kitchen,
right.
Because they only have 2.
Yeah.
So I built the other kitchen.
Yeah, so she ended up doing on her last turn, because you only get 1 turn per round. But if you do that kitchen, you can get a couple more turns during that round, which is really helps you out. But yeah, the Castles of Mad King Ludwig are number 2. Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Ooh, number 1, our favorite games of 2014. My number 1 game, my favorite game, it was really close, because Castles of Mad King Ludwig is so good. And like I said, that will probably make the table more, because this one is just harder to get people to play, because I think it's really intimidating. Though I don't think it's quite as hard as people upon first viewing. I think I don't think it's that bad. My number 1, made Kiya's list also, is Kanban Automotive Revolution. I kind of talked about a lot of how you play the game. This game is It's so crunchy. It is so much going on in this game. First of all, the board is just, you look at that board and you're like, it gives you a big headache. I get excited when I see a board with lots, so I'm going to say it. I love a game when I open up a box and I see all these bits. She hates when I use that word.
It's crazy. It's pieces, so it makes sense.
It's not pieces. They're bits. I love all the little bits in the game. Bits. No. So, anyways, I love this game because all these pieces and bits. I'll say both. Compromise. And so and so I can see it really intimidating people. But if you really break it down, it is essentially a kind of a fairly simple worker placement game, or straightforward, not simple, because you really have 5 departments. And you get to do 1 or 2 actions at each department. So at the department, at the design department, you can pick up car designs or get certified and like do homework. Or you can go to the car part place and you can get car parts, or you can lay out car parts, or order car parts. So either order car parts or pick them up. The assembly line, the only thing you can really do is just get cars out onto the test track. The testing and innovation, you can either upgrade cars or buy a car to put in your garage. That's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. And then you have secret goals. Again, that's also why I love this game, because you have secret goals that you're going for. You have end game goals you have end round goals and end game goals. And you have secret goals that you have per round. There's 3 rounds, and or not 3 rounds, but for 3 meetings, for 3 rounds, yeah. But yeah, there's so much things to go for, so you're like, how do I do this, that? Now, what makes this game really heavy is not the mechanics and what you have to do, it's thinking about how to get the bang for your buck. Like, how do I go, okay, so I really need all these cars out, so I'm going to have to get this design here, and I need this car part to do this, to get this car out, so it is kind of really brain burning. You're like, the first time you play it, it's probably going to take you at least half the game to find out what's going on. Like I said before, it clicked with Kiya halfway through, and we were still like, what? So I played it about 5 times now, and it gets better every time I play it. I really like this game. Kanban Automotive Revolution, definitely one of my all-time favorite games, and I hope I can try to convince more people to play it, because if you get past that initial intimidation, it's a blast. It is so much to do in this game. Love it. Okay. Your number 1 game.
Woo! Imperial Settlers!
This game, we didn't even play. I don't even think we were through the first turn, and she was like, I love this game. Like, she immediately loved it. What is Imperial Settlers? Like, what is this game?
Well, you're building your faction, and there's 4 different factions.
Yep, there are.
They're Japanese, Egyptian, barbarians, and the Romans.
Yep, that's what we got it. And then what are you doing?
Well, you're building your faction.
But what are you building? You're
building, like, cards.
Yep, yeah, so it's a card game, and you're putting them down as buildings.
As buildings, and you use those to either gain resources, actions to get victory points, or actions to help you get other resources. And then there's features that help you.
Yeah, and you're trying to get victory points, essentially. So you're trying to build an engine to the first 2 rounds, you're essentially going to be putting buildings down to get your victory points. But there's also player interaction in this game, right?
Yes.
What do you do?
Well, you fight each other.
Yeah, so they call it raise, but you're like attacking. You can raise someone's building, like you're using a sword, and you can take the resources from them, and then they would get rid of that. That building would be a foundation for them, or the building would just be completely lost to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can raise your own buildings, too, to get the resources from them. Yes. So what about the game, too? Like,
artwork.
She likes the artwork. Of all the different factions?
Of all the different factions.
Oh, she loves this guy. She loves him.
He's so cute.
He's so jolly. What about the dog, though? The dog's pretty cute, too.
I don't know. It doesn't really fit like the artwork on the card. He's not rounded. All the artwork on the people are usually rounded.
Okay. Yeah.
This right there.
Okay.
And it's just cute. It doesn't
So what?
have
Why?
to-
Okay, so why is this your favorite game though?
I love the mechanics, the artwork, everything.
You just like building. So you like building your civilizations.
I like
I think
building
when you
your
first played this, you told me it was kind of like a video game, like something you play on your iPad or something, like one of those civilization games.
You asked me.
Yeah.
Like you.
It's
asked
kind of
me
like one of
about
those
that. Something
games, or like a
that.
sim game where you're like building, because it kind of has this artwork where you look down at it and you see. I do like this game.
I won the first time.
Oh yeah. Now the first time I played this game, I played it at a board game marathon, and I played it with 3 players that were AP prone. AP is analysis paralysis, and it took forever. And there were times where I didn't have anything left to do in my round, so I passed, and everyone else were doing things, and I sat there for 15 minutes waiting for my next turn, and so it essentially turned me off from the game. I already bought it before I played it, so then I played it with Kiya, and a 2-player game goes by much faster. By the way, 4 players, I don't know. I maybe it was just the players
I think
that I played it with. I don't know, but
different factions have different strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
Which I think works out, like, if you're better at making deals,
Right.
one faction would be better. If you're better at using people to get the resources, that would be better.
Well, the thing, it is a neat concept. The only thing I don't like about it, for me, it feels like, even if I'm winning, I don't feel like I'm doing a good job. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing.
he's crazy.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
I like it. I think it is a good game. And the reason why I will play it anytime, I love when she gets excited about a game, and I like it that she likes something that has this strategic. You know, she's 11 years old. That's cool that you like something this strategic. So I will play this anytime you want to play it. Because I can tolerate it. I don't think it's a bad game at all. I actually think it's a good game. It's just not in my list. So those are our games. Hi, look at all these games we have. It's crazy.
Actually, we have more.
Yeah, we do. So we're going to start doing some reviews, I think, of 2015 games and maybe some other 2014 games that we want to play. We still didn't get to play everything that we had. I had like Sail to India and Impulse and Provincia Romana and some other 2014 games that we just didn't get a chance to play. But this is so... Take that with what you will. We haven't played like Dead of Winter or anything, but that was our top 10. Stay tuned. FLIX and games. We're also going to do some movie reviews because she's also my movie buddy. So we're going to do movies and games. We're going to go see the Kingsman Secret Service tomorrow. So hopefully we'll get a review up for that. Until then, that's it. I'm Austin Kennedy.
I'm Kiya Kennedy.
All right, and this is FLIX and yay!